Every successful organization begins with its people. At Incredible Workplaces, we help you build workplaces that inspire, engage, and endure. Recognition starts with certification. Our globally benchmarked evaluation celebrates organizations that foster engagement, inclusivity, and innovation. Certification is more than a badge. It's proof that your culture empowers people to excel. Through consulting, we partner with organizations to transform cultures, strengthen leadership, and build workplaces that adapt, innovate, and thrive. Your story deserves to be heard. With our employer branding solutions, we showcase your culture through featured videos, exclusive events, and media spotlights, ensuring you attract and retain top talent with pride. From recognition to transformation and employer branding, our services create workplaces that inspire people and elevate businesses. Are you ready to transform your workplace into a beacon of excellence? Partner with Incredible Workplaces today.
Thanks a lot, Incredible Workplace, for this recognition. Thank you.
Proud to be Incredible Workplaces.
I'm proud to share that MB Informatics has been certified as an Incredible Workplace.
Feeling proud to be recognized as Incredible Workplace certified.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. And I'm here once again with yet another episode of Culture Connect by Incredible Workplaces. Today we have our episode number 14. And as you know, that we always bring global leaders across the world to come on the platform and to talk about culture and the work culture in the organizations. And we try to pick different aspects of that. And if you're watching us, you might have seen that we have brought a lot of HR professionals and also the business leaders who came on our platform and spoke about what they think about culture and how they are able to sustain and define culture in their organization. Now, today we have our guest, Alexandra, with us, who is the owner and transformation coach of Light Insight. So first of all, let me welcome Alexandra on the stage. Welcome, Alexandra.
Hi, it's great to be here.
All right, thank you very much. And for my audience, I know Alexandra from my previous engagements, and it's been such a wonderful, tenure that we have spent together. Spoke about a lot about work culture and how that shaped. And I think it's going to be a great conversation today. Both of us are on a very different journey now, and as Alex now is an honor and transformation coach for a company called Light Insight. So we're going to talk about a little bit. But the topic that we're going to talk today is very, very, very interesting. And Alex, we have never touched upon that. It's the human science behind culture. I can tell you in the past, we have kind of touched upon almost the role of the business leaders in the work culture, how AI is going to impact work culture in the future, almost all the aspects. But I think the core of that is human, right? So talking about the human science about culture is not the topic that we picked. And I think who can be a better person than you to talk about that. So once again, welcome to our platform. And thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for the invitation. And I'm really looking forward to dive into the topic with you.
Awesome. Alex, so before we start and have the real conversation, would you like to talk a little bit about your journey and with our audience so that they understand and frame their questions in the way that connect with the topic and to you from your previous engagement?
Yeah, sure. So I'm from Romania, Eastern Europe. I've worked with Govin before, and today I'm sitting in front of you with the role that I currently have, which is an owner of a coaching and training company, but also as a psychotherapist in training. But in the past, I've actually worked as an HR professional in various roles, from recruitment generalist, HR business partner, management position. Most of my work experience has been in tech companies. I've entered that field and it felt just natural to advance and continue working there. And I think the topic today is the perfect one to kind of use my expertise in psychology and also my HR expertise.
That's awesome. So, Alex, why your organization, the firm that you established, called Light Insight? Is there any story behind that?
Yes, there's a story. So I think it was 7 or 8 years ago. I was having a marketing meeting with my marketing team at that point, which was me and my husband, to talk about beginnings of business, and we were looking for a name. And we've reached this name, Light Inside, because for me it has two meanings: a light inside, because I think it's really important to provide hope. There is hope. There is hope when it comes to personal transformation. There is hope when it comes to us becoming a better version of ourselves and leading more fulfilled lives. And light inside, keeping things light. So I believe that a lot of the times we can approach things with a bit more ease and fun. And yes, so it's a play on those words and meanings.
Well, I'm glad that I asked you because I actually thought a different tension. I thought it is with
Oh,
the ray of light
hmm.
inside. I thought that way, but I think, yeah, very good way. And I think there's always a reason why the owner of the organization put their name in a way, and I think it's very important, and it is very important to know, and I think it connects with the way they think and connects with the approach they use, whatever they do in their organization. So glad to know that. Thank you very much. Let me jump into the conversation that we had today, and like we were having a chit chat before coming live here, and we're talking about incredible workplaces also working in transformation organization culture, right? And um, and I always say that organization culture is not one thing; it's so many things together. But who can be a better person than you to talk about that and defining what organizational culture is all about? And is there anything that myth that you see around that you wanted to talk about and buzz to our audience?
Oh yes, I think it's the best place to start, and it sounds elementary, but I hope you'll see soon why it's actually important to clarify these terms. So
Mhm.
we talk about culture a lot and about company culture a lot, but I don't think we really define it clearly. It's sort of like culture is this intangible feeling that we have, something that can't really be named, measured. It's really important, but we don't really know what it is, and we can't see it and we can't name it. So I don't know if you've seen those memes on the internet that culture is how you feel in your stomach on a Monday morning. And as a psychotherapist in training and somebody coming from a psychology background, I love the phrasing of that, the embodiment of that. But I also have to say that that's not a measure of organizational culture, but of organizational climate. And this is the first distinction that I want to bring. Organizational climate is about how we feel in a workplace. It's about the emotions that we have, the perceptions that we have. And the definition of culture that I want to bring forward today is that culture is not about feelings, not about emotions. Culture is about actions and habits. It is about the actions and habits of the people in a company. Culture talks about how we do things here. And it is about the big things, and it is about the small things. It is about how we do expense reports. It is about how we talk to clients. It is about who gets promoted and who doesn't get promoted. It is about what happens when somebody crosses the line in a company. Is it addressed? Is it, sort of pushed into the background? So it is a much more tangible definition of culture. And just as a fun fact, Govind, here's the official definition of organizational culture. If you can humor me a bit.
Okay.
And I wrote this down because I cannot remember it. The official definition is organizational culture can be defined as the enduring, largely tacit system of shared assumptions, values, symbols, meanings that a group has developed through its collective history of problem solving and adaptation to both its external environment and internal integration challenges. What? How do you work with that in a
Yeah.
business where you're struggling to make the business case for culture, right?
Correct.
I'll
Can
pause
I
a bit.
can I just ask you, like, in your organization as a transformation coach, do you also work with customers on transforming their work culture?
Mhm. Right now, my business is not directly oriented to other businesses. I work with clients, and a lot of my clients are leaders.
Mhm.
So they, this topic is quite important for them. On the one side, we speak about how the company culture therein affects them. On the other side, we speak about what they're trying to create in their teams and the challenges they have.
Awesome, got it. So I would love to hear some stories around those conversations. Of course, you definitely have all the rights to not to share the names, but we love to hear the stories because that's what I think the audience get more excited about. And I could see, first of all, thank you very much everybody for joining in. I see there are a lot of people who are already live on LinkedIn. I could see on my mobile at this point in time. So thank you very much, and do not hesitate to ask questions that you want to ask on this platform, and I'll try my level best to get those questions on the screen here and ask Alex those questions and get her opinion on that. So feel free to do that, and thank you very much for definitely joining us. So Alex, so as you said, that you work with the business leaders, and of course, they are from different organizations. What is your best story of, I don't know, whether the business leaders not able to understand what the culture is like all about and how to shape it, or maybe a story where you said like, okay, these people really understand what the culture is about. So any story that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about your question, and what actually comes to mind is I'm curious how this is felt on your side, but in Romania and the evolution of the tech industry, because a lot of my clients are from the tech industry, obviously, uh, we have definitely seen a big change, right? We've seen a change from tech companies being in this stage of growth economy where there's so much resources, even financial ones, where we have the luxury or the space to speak about culture, to speak about leadership, all these things. But as of maybe 1, 2, 3 years ago, we started a different kind of stage of this industry. It's a performance economy now. We are very strict about costs. We're very strict about how we spend money. And I think the conversation has shifted. And I think a lot of people that I speak with, clients or friends, in the industry, they feel this topic of culture is a bit getting in the background. It's like a lot of companies today, they think they cannot or feel they cannot afford to put this topic on the table because they have, meeting the payroll, getting the cash flow in, not losing clients, all of those big things. So I understand why culture feels a bit exotic, especially if we don't understand the connection that culture has to business results. Because moving to sort of the next topic when it comes to culture, how do we define a healthy culture? There's a very clear connection between culture and business results that I believe we're missing a lot of the times. So how do we define a healthy culture? There's the general sort of definition, right? Teamwork, continuous improvement, customer care, integrity. Those are the things that are great for any company, right? Because they make sense. Of course, you want to live in an environment like that. But we need to take the definition forward and further. And we need to have a company-specific definition of what a healthy culture is. And the healthy culture talks about the behaviors and habits that allow the organization to reach its business goals. So if we understand culture like that and we frame it like that, we've moved from seeing culture as this emotional feeling, this, right? The thing we mentioned at the beginning. People come in, they need to feel good, Okay, yes, important. But we can actually see the connection to the business results. And especially in these times of the industry, we can make a much stronger case for investing in culture.
Wow. And I think you spoke about performance economy and culture is taking a backseat. What a great topic, because I wanted to double down on this a little bit. Now, I totally agree with you. The economy right now, everybody is in a state where they really do not know what to do. And I'm sure the situation is same, but I don't want to speak for them. But I have a lot of friends who are entrepreneur at this point in time, and with what's going on in the world right now, especially with the tariff, and I don't know whether you know that or not. India is 50% tariff right now, so uh, so that is actually creating a lot of uncertainty among businesses, especially organization where they have client in US, right? Now there, when I talk to them, and let's say 6 months back I was talking to them on culture because they know what I do, right? So we are talking about culture, and suddenly when I talk to them, it becomes more like, hey, we need to diversify our business from US to some other place, and culture is not that important, right? Like, it is important but not that important. My
Yeah.
focus is here. And you're also saying the culture is taking a back seat in situations like this, Alex. With your experience, and as I said, you kind of consult a lot of customers there and clients on these things. What will be your advice? Because most of our audience right now, and I see a lot of questions, so I'm going to pick some of them, guys. Stay tuned. Most of our audience is HR, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And HR is supposed to be a custodian of, like, culture. In some organization, mature organization, people know that HR is going to facilitate it, but it is everybody. In not that mature organization, people think HR is the one who actually creates the culture, which is true to some extent, but not exactly. Uh, so they face this when the economy is going down and it becomes more about performance economy. Somewhere those cultural things, like you said, the healthy culture, start going away. What would be your advice to all the HR people who are here when they see these things happening, right? As you said, giving processing the payroll is more important than any other activity. Or let's say employee engagement survey, right? It's less important. More important is not taking any action on the employee engagement survey. It's important to process the payroll fast, which is, I think, I agree, is important. But how do they navigate through to their business leaders, the CEOs, that, hey, you know what, this is also important, and this is what we can do? What's your opinion on that? I'm sure many of our
Yeah, speak the business language, understand the business and the business state at that time. So we have to understand that business leaders are kind of, they are, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but definitely they have a lot on their plate. So is this kind of high urgency, high stakes environment. So the best thing you can do as an HR person pitching an idea is be quick, be smart, be out. So you need to make a very clear and compelling business case as to why culture is important to what those business leaders are trying to achieve. And it has to really make sense, right? Maybe you're a very good speaker, maybe you don't really see that connection between culture and the business results. You can convince people by your speech. Now, I would encourage them to really understand that logical cause between what people do every day at work and the results that the business is trying to achieve, because a cultural transformation process is not about just talking about feelings and values and beliefs. It is such a complex process that can be reflected also in job descriptions, job titles, processes, procedures, the way we talk to clients, pricing. So it's actually very real. That's sort of my first advice. And the second one is an uncomfortable truth that I learned at some point in my career. I wouldn't say early, because it took me some trial and error to get to the learning, which is never, as an HR person, never push a project that doesn't have leadership buy-in. You're not going to make it. It's going to be your project. People are, maybe business leaders are going to be nice. They're going to go ahead with it, but they don't see the urgency and the value of it. So actually, especially when it comes to cultural transformation and cultural change, leadership support is the most important place to start. Not just support, ownership, because I saw a definition that leadership is actually the act of managing company culture, right? Because you're the one as a leader who speaks about what the company is trying to achieve, what's important, what the company is about. Part of your job is to communicate that further in the organization. So actually, culture sits in the arms of business leaders, but a strong HR professional can be an incredible resource.
Yeah, and I am really, really excited to talk about a lot of things that you just said. But I will just hold my thoughts because I know there's so many comments from audience, and I would like to take their questions in the limited time that we have. But I would still say that I couldn't agree more on the second point that you mentioned. That first, of course, it has to be a top-down approach in anything that you want to drive from HR perspective. But very true that anything that you want to do should have a leadership buy-in. So maybe as HR leaders, whosoever are there on this live right now, if you're planning to do something, whether it is organizational culture or any other initiative, try to get your organization or your leaders buy-in to make that successful. Otherwise, as Alex said, it's gonna be your on-street project, and you'll be happy with that, but it might not be able to make any transformation impact that you wanted to make. All right, so I think we've speaking about the HR leaders and what they can do. I see a question, so I just put it here for you, Alex. And Dimple wanted to know, what is the one simple experiment HR leaders can try tomorrow to nudge their culture in a positive direction? Any thought that you have on that?
Yeah, two things come to mind. First is bring awareness into conversations you're part of and into projects you're part of. Bring awareness about the results we're trying to achieve, or the team, the project is trying to achieve, and the kind of habits and behaviors we need to make those results happen. Because sometimes we just get into the inertia of things. We do one more thing, one more project, one more task, but we lose the big picture, right? It's something that I've seen in a book that I really loved about company culture. So we can have on the one side high-level thinking, which is company mission, company statement, company goals, and then we have the quote-unquote daily noise, problems, issues, all kinds of emergencies, lack of resources. Sometimes we are so caught up into the daily issues and challenges that we no longer go back to the vision that was on the board and refer to it. And
Awesome.
this, yeah, just to mention the second one as well. I think you can lead by example as an HR professional. You don't have to have a leadership title to lead by example. But if you're the kind of person that you think about what a healthy organizational culture is, you're mindful about how you invest your time, you ask the right question, maybe that your behavior, the way you act at work, that is going to be part of the business case, right? And people are going to be looking at your results, your demeanor, they see the value, they get curious, and then you can open the big conversation about working on culture.
Awesome, thank you. And Dimple, I think I'm hoping you got the answer that you're looking for. And there's one question that we got, Alex, from the audience, and I think I kind of wanted to touch upon that also anyways. So I'll put it here on the screen. I just wanted to ask something on the psychological factor, but let's see. So Neetu wants to know, what are the most powerful human behaviors that shapes an organization culture? And I think I think I see it's very much connected with the human science behind culture. So what do you think? You are into this. What are the most powerful human behaviors?
I love this question. Yeah, and it's very much connected to the topic at hand. I think I would speak about the human forces that shape an organization's culture. First and foremost, right? It's not about just behavior, but a bit about the psychology that gets involved into this process of cultural definition, cultural change. And I've actually mentioned one, but I haven't, taken the time to conceptualize it, which is the importance of high status individuals. That's how they would be called if you were to look at culture from a psychological perspective. High status individuals are very important in any kind of group. They were important in the tribes that we used to have back in the days. They are important in the tribes we have right now at work. And high status individuals are, of course, people in leadership positions, but not just them. We also have the informal leaders or the cultural superheroes, right? And people won't do what's written in the handbook, in the employee handbook. They won't do what's written on the walls. They will do what these high status leaders do. So that's one place to start. Yeah.
Awesome.
Another thing that's really, I would say this is a fundamental thing to look at when we speak about culture or any kind of conversation about human behavior, is the role of emotions. I don't know how many people talk about emotions at work. In some companies, maybe they do. In others, talking about emotions doesn't, really fit in because companies are for something else, right? But actually, we're humans at work, and emotions run the show, even when we think they don't. And culture specifically is felt before it's understood. Emotions are contagious. So I can, maybe I'm a business leader, maybe I'm trying to instill confidence by my words and my town halls meetings. But people see me running in the office, they see me concerned, right? They can see my nonverbal language. That nonverbal emotional side of things always runs the show and is far more important than the cognitive aspect. And the reason why it's more important is because of our psychology. Emotions are far more powerful experiences than thoughts, because the thinking brain is a new addition for us as a species. Emotions is like, we've used emotions to survive. And we used emotions to survive the tigers back in the days. Right now, we have the same emotional mechanisms to survive a tough client meeting, right? It's the same, but the context is very, very different. And any conversation about change and about cultural change triggers a very clear reaction: fear. The first thing we experience when we hear about change is fear, because we start having questions. What does this mean? I no longer have control. I no longer have clarity. I'm going to lose my job. It takes us 2 minutes to get to that piece of information. So again, another statement that maybe sounds a bit bold or provocative, but one of the most important roles of leaders is to be sort of architects of emotions. You have to understand the importance of stabilizing that emotional climate. What does this mean in practice? If we're going through a change, think about the human needs, the psychological needs of your teams. Think about their need for clarity as much as you can offer. Think about their need for safety as much as you can offer and meet that need for safety. Think about their need for belonging and the need for hope. Hope is so important in a change because change requires effort and involves risks. So people need to have that vision, hopeful vision, to be able to go through the challenge of that.
Yeah. No, thank you, Alex. And I couldn't agree more. The leaders has to be the architect of the emotion for sure. And there is a role of emotion everywhere. In long back, as you correctly said, we used to fight with tigers through our emotions, but the definition of tiger might have changed today. But the tiger might not be literally the tiger, but the emotion of tiger, that the fear that we still feel, and I think that can be definitely managed with emotions.
And I'd like to, just add a bit more to that idea, because I want to make the business case for emotions today. Why should I be interested in that? Because when people are in a calm state, they can use all of their resources, right? When I'm in fight or flight mode, my brain power is used for survival, covering my tracks. I'm no longer inclined to take risks, to speak the truth, to create, to innovate, to collaborate. So actually performance is tied to emotional regulation.
Got it. Yeah, I think it is very true, especially when you are So many things are going in your mind. I think you will just try to do what it is in front of you as opposed to thinking holistically.
Yeah.
And there's a connection, very very different angle. One of our audience has brought, and his name is Mayank, and he is basically talking about the importance of upbringing of an employee. So, of course, everybody has a different upbringing, and the cultures have different upbringing. He's saying what might be the impact of their contribution. Like, how do you see upbringing and the culture? So, have a look at the question and let me know what your thoughts are.
Yeah. You know what came up in my mind?
Uh-huh.
How many business deals have fallen because there was no chemistry between two people, two business leaders? How many consulting businesses or agreements have failed because maybe I'm part of the company that solicits contractors to bring in help, but then I feel threatened. So I don't want to make that collaboration work, because if we bring other people and results are better, that means what I did before with that external help is not good enough. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's this upbringing and the psychology of what we've been through and how it shaped us. That's the invisible but powerful force at play in any interaction. Or I have this example about how difficult it might be for a leader to give positive feedback when they themselves haven't received that. When they've always put in effort and work and nobody has stopped to say, good job. So as a result of that, you think, okay, doing a great job, a phenomenal job is like a normal thing that you don't have to offer praise for. So something that you have lived then becomes a way of being that you bring into your teams.
Awesome. So, Mayank, yeah, definitely upbringing has a definite role. Sometimes it is not necessary at the front, but at the back it definitely works. A great example like that you gave. There is another question that I have from Priyanshu, and he wants to know, why is understanding the psychology of people essential for building a sustainable workplace culture? What happens if we don't understand psychology? Will we not be able to make any culture? I think.
Yeah. So let's take the context of company culture. If we don't understand the invisible psychological forces at play, then we dive into a cultural change process. We create that great vision. We create awesome materials. We do culture launch events. Everything looks great from our perspective as the people who have built the new cultural framework. We launch it into the company and then nothing happens. Or actually things are worse than before. We're like baffled because we think, okay, we have the information, we have the clarity there. What else is needed? Well, you need to actually create buy-in. You need to leave people room to address their concerns. You need to leave people room for processing the changes you're bringing in. So I think it's like asking, why do you need to understand how the gears at the car work, right? In order to drive it. And I know it sounds simple, but at the same time, yes, it's very much neglected. Because if we look at the skill set that, I don't know, people need to have in businesses, do we screen leaders for psychological expertise when we hire them? No, we look at certain behaviors and their ability to have meaningful conversations, but it feels like a lot to add on the requirements list for a job.
Yeah, so Priyanshu, I think so. This is definitely something which is essential for building a sustainable workplace culture. So thank you very much for asking this question. Let me ask you one. We always get something. So the world is moving around AI right now, right? And the automation is happening, and there is definitely a way that jobs are getting reshaped. How should organization rethink culture to stay human centered? Like many organizations, like our organization itself, Alex, we are remote first organization, right? We always do everything on the video calls, and I'm sure there are many. We are very small, but there are many other organizations that are big still does it the same way. This is always a thing that comes like, how do you keep your culture human centric when you are leveraging technology so much in your day to day that sometimes you don't even don't find a need to talk to a person, like meeting that person, not want to take the efforts to go and meet the person. What's your opinion on that? How will it keep human centric? Today I know AI is shaping up, but tomorrow it might take a bigger role. What is your opinion on that? How do we keep ourselves human centric? Or do we need to keep ourselves human centric is another question that I will ask you. Do we need to keep ourselves human centric? Sorry.
Okay. Um, Let me start with some story.
Oh, great. Yeah, sure.
I think 4 days ago, I asked ChatGPT for directions. I was supposed to go from one point of the city to the other, and guess what? ChatGPT was wrong, and I lost a lot of time. And I was late to a very important meeting. Also, have you seen examples of ChatGPT deleting databases on the internet? Or there was this beautiful and really impactful headline that we're now in an era where people use AI to write CVs, that companies use AI to analyze, and nobody gets hired, which I thought was such a striking description of what's happening. So AI is wonderful, but it's also limited. And I think it's something to be used cautiously because it makes errors. How do you keep a company human-centric? First, by understanding that humans cannot be replaced. Certain I don't want to say human actions can be replaced. Certain skills, which are simple, maybe, or repetitive, or do not depend on the context analysis, can be automated, but there will be no replacement for humans in the workplace. So I think this actually has to start from looking at how AI changes the business, changes the work this company is doing, what skills does it require, what skills does it make obsolete, and understanding in that environment and in that context, how do we look at engagement, what kind of contributions are more important now that AI is on the table, how important is critical thinking now, how important is risk assessment now, how important is creativity, how important is human touch. But it's a complex question.
Yeah, and I think, Alex, when if you, I'm sure you will remember that there was a time that, especially around COVID, when companies started going remote. Right, there's no choice; they start going remote, and then gradually, so people started having a kind of a taste of what the remote work looked like, right? And I'm sure some organization did it. Most of the organization did it forcefully, but then when the COVID was going away, it kind of gave a choice to the organization, especially the IT organization, where you also said that you work the most and your clients belongs to that. They found this opportunity, saying, well, we might not need to come to the office, and I think people can still work from remote. And that point in time was so much of conversation around the impact on the social well-being or impact on the mental well-being. And there are people who are for work from home, there are people against work from home. And then also I think there are a lot of things that we said that might need to change from the way we deal from an emotion perspective. And right now I see the same kind of transformation when AI is coming right now. And AI is also first of all, I think the lot of jobs that are already on the stake. And I hear a lot of people saying that um, that they feel scared, so the psychological safety goes away because they might feel the AI will take their job. And that everybody is aware, Alex, for their benefit, everybody is aware that they need to upgrade themselves, right? There's no other way to it. But maybe, I don't know, they don't want to, or maybe they don't think they can, whatever could be the reason. But I think I see a lot of psychological safety issues out there. So I think, Vishakha, to your question, I think there will be challenges to be a human-centric organization, but I think that's something that we definitely need to find ways. And I think very connected to that is a question that we have Alex from Akash, and he's asking what practical step HR take. Now, somebody HR, what practical steps HR takes to protect belongingness and connection when employee work remotely, like as we were saying, or in dispersed team. So, any situation where you have supported any remote team, like how do they protect belongingness in that and connection?
Yeah, it's a topic I actually I was studying at some point for the company I was working with. Multiple ways to go about this. One is the shared values and beliefs, and continuing speaking about them and bringing stories about what we have in common. Okay, so you might be working from your kitchen, your living room, in Europe, Asia, wherever you are, but we have certain things in common, and we need to revert back to those common values and common beliefs and to continue building upon them. So referencing shared beliefs, shared values is one thing. Another thing that we can use is sort of meaningful virtual moments. So besides our stand-ups, our meeting, projects, maybe we have a tradition that connects us a bit more personally or closer. Maybe every first Monday of the month, we meet and we bring our pets to the meeting or whatever. We talk about our hobbies. I've also seen a great practice from a company that doesn't even have physical offices, but has a practice of sending employees physical gifts. And it makes such a big difference, like to receive that branded t-shirt, mug, the happy birthday card. It just, hits differently because it's a physical thing I can look at as an employee and think, okay, I'm valued. But also to protect belonging and connection, I mentioned a couple of nice things, but we also have to curate the atmosphere in a team or a company, which means be very clear about which behaviors are not healthy, which behaviors are not tolerated, set limits, set boundaries, right? Because the connection is a bit more fragile in a remote environment. So we need to pay more attention to the behaviors that could actually harm that.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. And I think this will be helpful for many of our audience, because I see a lot of organizations are mostly either in hybrid mode or working remotely. And there are, of course, many have mentioned that work from office itself. But for those who are working remotely and hybrid, this could be a great support, because I think the one thing the HR always struggle is how do we keep our people engaged? How do we make sure our people are they feel belongingness to the organization or to the team for that matter? And it becomes harder in the culture where you don't meet people that often, maybe once in a year, when you have your annual function or I don't know yearly celebration that you do. So I think these advices will be really awesome. We are coming very close as the time flies. It's hardly a couple of minutes that I have, but I will not let this question go away. I think so. This is a question from Vibha for you, Alex. She says, Alex, if you could give one piece of advice to organizations, right, looking to align their business strategy with the human science behind culture, what would it say? Great question, Vibha. Thank you very much, because we are also in the same business. So great. Tell us.
Yeah, you know what's the one piece of advice? Hire an expert to do this. I really mean this, and it's not a sales pitch. It's really just look at two things. Organizational culture goes into such complex nuances of business understanding, psychology of groups, performance management, rewards, sales processes, customer excellence, frameworks for how we organize work. Do you have an expert on all of those things in your company right now? And is that person, the expert, available to work only on this topic? So it's a very complex expertise. So I would say hire consultants who have actual experience with curating culture, assessing culture, shaping culture. And the second reason why I would recommend this is if you're part of the company, you are biased in the sense that you want to defend that company, defend your actions as a leader, as a team member. You want to be able to have a good image about who you are and what you do. That's a psychological feature of any individual. We all want to have a good opinion about ourselves and the things that we do, which means we might be less capable of seeing things objectively and looking at our opportunities for change. So that would be my advice. Hire experts.
Yeah, and that's a great one. And thank you very much for saying that. And I see that a lot of organizations nowadays are actually moving towards that direction, Lex, because they kind of feel that one, they don't have the expertise to do that particular job.
Yeah.
And when they start doing it, either they do a shady job of it and they do it like off the table, they don't have time. Don't so it's like the work either get done and done in a way that it doesn't get any impact, or it never get done because it's not their priority. They have busy with so many. But when you bring an expert, you bring expertise, of course, one, the focus again, and the third, that person has the target to make sure that the work in the project is getting complete and you as a client get what you want. So great advice. And you said it's not a sales pitch, but I would like to make it a sales pitch for us. So we are into the consulting business, guys. So, if you're looking for any such expertise in any area, do reach out to us. And if you're in Romania, do reach out to my Light Inside. So yeah, I think I have seen. I think we are talking before this conversation that I've seen many of our clients have started with one consulting assignment and they actually moved to a different one, precisely because of the fact that they knew that the amount of money they're spending, they're getting value out of it, and they would have not been able to do it. But I think it's important for client to understand that it is something important for them to work on. Otherwise, there's no point of putting money out there.
Yeah.
Well, we are almost 2 minutes over our time. And first of all, thank you very much to all the audience because such thoughtful questions that you have asked.
Love them.
And you covered almost everything that I wanted to cover, so I couldn't ask mine. So a good thing. And I hope that we answered all of your questions. If not, Alex has already promised me that she's gonna look at the offline or the recorded version of the LinkedIn Live. And if you are not active right now and you're watching us right now, recorded version, you can still put your question there, no problem. And Alex, whenever she has time, she will be coming and try to answer your questions there itself. And then second, Alex, thank you very much for being here, for sharing your opinion. And I wish all the best to you, first of all, but I think it's such a great feeling, more than this conversation, that I think it's like a time that the past time, the time from the past came in front of us, and it's such a great conversation. So thank you to you, and also thank you to Wi-Fi, as you were mentioning before. To my audience, I'm in Bangalore right now. I think many of you might know because we are doing. By the way, Alex, on this Saturday we have our phase 2 award ceremony for all the Incredible Workplace certified organizations.
Wow.
So there will be many of them. Yeah, many of them flying from all over the India to come to Bangalore. And sorry guys, whoever couldn't get the room in the hotel because already booked. So, but they will be coming here and they're gonna get their awards. So that's why thank you very much to the Wi-Fi.
That's a great occasion.
I was a little skeptical about whether Wi-Fi will work or not. But thank you, Alex, for talking about the topic that we have never ever touched on the Culture Connect of the LinkedIn Live that we do. And on behalf of everybody from our audience, anything that you want to say before we disconnect our LinkedIn Live?
Thank you for the invitation. It was really fun, and I loved having so many questions. It really felt like a lively interaction, and it was a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Alexandra with us from Romania, joining us. She's the Honor and Transformation Coach for Light Inside, and it was a topic that is, as I said, never touched but close to our heart, and I'm so glad that you guys have also shown your interest to this topic. let's meet the next Thursday. As you know, we do that every alternate Thursday, and we'll be meeting with yet another global leader like Alex on our platform and with another topic. Till then, have a nice day and see you later. Alex, just last bye from our side for you, and see you in the next one. All right, guys, bye bye. Have a nice day.